Hello everyone, thank you for joining us this morning. We'll just wait for a few more people to come in and then we will get started. Welcome to episode 1 of the How to Academy Small Business Masterclasses with the Great British Entrepreneur Awards and Salesforce. These free masterclasses will arm you with actionable steps that you can take within your business to improve processes, plans and outcomes. In today's session, we're joined by startup and scale-up advisor and entrepreneur Kate Methuen-Ley, as she will share how to write a business plan to improve your small business. In this session, you will understand the value of writing a business plan when you've established your business and the key differences between business plans that initiate growth in a small business and what to include and what to leave out. There is an opportunity to ask questions during this session. If you have a question you'd like to ask, you can pop this in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer these towards the end of the session. And with that, I'll pass over to Kate. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Kate. Good morning, I'm Kate Methuen-Ley, and I'm going to give you some insight on why you should keep a live business plan in your business even when you're established. As you said, I'm a business coach and mentor, and I've previously had my own business growing Tiger stores in Wales and Bristol from 8 stores to over 5 million turnover in 4 years. So I've had plenty of experience of writing business plans and keeping live business plans in my business. So just get back to basics to start with. What is a business plan? So a business plan is a written document that describes in detail how a business defines its objectives and how it's going to go about achieving its goals. So we've probably all done one at some point in our life cycle of our business, or back in school at some point. And maybe it was with the business, it was at the beginning when you were opening your bank account or taking out a loan, for example, or just kind of working out in your head what you were going to do. And we always hear about them from a startup perspective, but we don't often hear about them from an established business perspective. I was really lucky early in my career to work for some big corporates who constantly had a business planning process every year, and I instilled in me a very good ethic around annual planning. I'd be really curious, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later, about how many of you have a live business plan right now, or do you call it maybe your annual plan, and you know, whether you're keeping it up to date, whether it's an accurate reflection of where your business is right now, and is it flexible? Are you reviewing it? So these are all the kind of questions we'll have a look at today. But basically, you know, it's a roadmap for your business from an operational perspective, a financial perspective, your marketing plan, your sales plan, etc. And it allows you just to have the headspace for delivering what's going on a day-to-day basis to make your business successful. So I often hear, when I talk to the businesses I work with, I often hear things like, I don't really need a business plan, do I? I'm not a startup. Why do I want one? I'm too small. I know what I'm doing. It's in my head, or I just don't have time for it. I'm sure we've all heard the phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, the full phrase is actually, Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. This was a guy called John Hayward. He came up with that in the 16th century, a long time ago. And what he was implying is that it's really easy to overestimate your final vision, your final kind of completed empire or business, really, and underestimate the importance of the systems and the foundations that you need to make that work, the bricks that you need to build on. And I think that's a really great way of explaining why a business plan is integral to your business and creating that sustainable growth. I'm a huge advocate of getting business foundations in place and getting the basics of the business right, so you can get on with what you're good at doing. I often hear that, oh, it's going to slow me down. Business plans and foundations don't slow you down. They make you much more agile. And they help you reflect your ambitions and make you focus on the right thing and not just something. So there's many benefits of a business plan, and there's plenty of tangible reasons as well. So there's studies that prove that you grow 30% faster, a business can grow 30% faster with a business plan, and therefore businesses with a business plan are more successful. I think that's really important to understand, that there are studies out there that show that actually having a business plan can help you grow faster and more sustainably. Business plans minimize risks, because while you're going through that planning process, you're probably identifying a lot of the risks that are out there, or you've done the work to know how to what will happen if that risk rears its head, and you've already thought through what you'll do, so that if something does happen, you know how to deal with it. It helps you create focus and direction. So it helps you drown out that noise of the day-to-day running of the business and actually focus on what is going to grow your business. When I worked on Tiger, myself and my business partner, we would spend a day, well, actually 2 days out of the business ourselves. We'd go to our favourite hotel, we'd sit always in the same chairs, and we would plan what our objectives, our objectives and our targets were for the following year, and then talk through what our strategies were to meet that, what we needed from a resource perspective, all those things. But the most important thing was we were taking ourselves out of the business and putting ourselves in a completely different environment to really think about that. And it really helped us create that focus and direction. And the tangible reason of having a business plan is, you might have aspirations to scale your business, or and you need some finance for that. So business plans really help support your access to those loans, grants, finance and investment, because institutions will expect to see a well thought out and validated plan. And from a personal perspective, having a business plan in place really helps you make the decisions and give you a reality check for your business. So it gives you the confidence that you're doing the right thing. So when you're putting your business plan together, you would have spent a lot of time researching it, validating and analysing your business. So you've got confidence that what you're doing is based on fact. It gives you an operating guide, or some people call it playbook, but it helps you to know how to operate your business and helps you to remember to do things. Because it's that kind of sense check that leaves you the brain power to work on what is going to drive your business. It also gives you the agility to be proactive with challenges and opportunities. Business plans aren't rigid, they aren't unchangeable. A lot of people, that's a common mistake that people think, oh, I've got this plan, I've got to follow it now for the rest of the year. You don't have to. It is a starting point, it is a foundation. Things can happen that you can't predict. We all know that after the last 18 months. So if you've got a plan in place, it's much easier to interrogate that plan and amend it if you have an unexpected challenge or an unexpected opportunity. If an opportunity comes across your desk that you really, really weren't expecting, having that plan in place can absolutely help you change around how you're going to do things to allow you to take advantage of that opportunity. Having a business plan, or going through the process of business planning, really gives you the opportunity to think of new ideas. So while you're doing your research for your plan, you're likely to be giving yourself the right stimulus to think creatively. And like I said earlier, go to a different environment and allow yourself to be outside of the business, so you can work on the business and not in the business. It helps you create an action plan. Sometimes we've got so many things that need doing every day, just actually seeing the wood for the trees is really difficult. Using that business plan to create those actions and clearly identify what works for your business and what doesn't is invaluable for you. And also, this is something we've always talked about in Tiger. If you fall down a drain, so if for whatever reason you have to be off from your business, it means that someone can come in and support you, or can pick up a document and know what they need to be focusing on, and it's all in one place. Or if you've all of a sudden scaling really quickly and your team is growing very quickly, it allows you to have a consistent message to everyone and at all the touch points in the business, so that everyone knows which way they're supposed to be going. So how to frame it? We know everything I've just talked about. We know that a business plan is fantastic for a lot of reasons, but how do you make it useful to you? How do you frame it so it's useful for you? First of all, what I will say is just do it. Don't wait until you have to. Plan in time every year to actually work on your business plan, and plan in time every quarter to review it. Don't wait until you have to do it, or you want some finance and you're rushing it, or you just have no choice because everything is chaotic. Do it. Make it part of your annual process. The busier you are, the more you need the plan. And like I said earlier, if you're always putting out fires, you can never have the headspace to actually work on the business. So making sure you've got that plan in place allows you to focus on the big things, as well as, we're all going to constantly have things we have to deal with every week. There opportunities, as I call them, not problems, will come up and you have to deal with them. But if you've got a plan, you've got that headspace to actually work on that issue and not on the bigger picture. Keep it simple. This is not an MBA dissertation. You do not have to write reams and reams and reams of paper. This is really important. People, when they talk about they don't have time, or people get their heads stuck in creating a lovely document with loads of beautiful pictures, you don't have to do that. It can simply be a few pages of bullet point lists, tables, and some essential projections or forecasts, particularly if you're only using it as an internal document for yourself and your team. It's just, the most important thing is you're getting it on paper and you're getting it down. Keep it specific. So don't have vague goals like be the best or world leading. Use specific dates, specific goals, specific management responsibilities and milestones. The more specific you make it, the far easier it is to achieve it, because you are completely focused on that. And that brings me on to my next point, be focused. So keep your priorities to a minimum. Just have 3 or 4. When you go through this process, you'll come out with loads of ideas, but just make sure you have 3 or 4 priorities, because actually then if you put too many things on the list, nothing is a priority. So make sure you have just 3 or 4 that are really going to drive your business. Next point is cash is king. Keep a beady eye on your cash flow. If you don't have a cash flow model, or you right now, make sure you've got one. If you use cloud accounting software, there's probably one in there, but make sure it's accurate, because actually if you don't have the cash, you cannot deliver your plan. And be agile. Like I said earlier, your business plan is not set in stone. Put in time to regularly review it and revise it. Having that plan allows you to have those kind of dependencies and shows how all the different bits of your business work together. So actually being able to review it allows you to make the right changes fast, and it makes you more flexible, not less flexible, like I said earlier. And I'll just say it again, just do it. Don't put it off, just get on with it and do it. It is so invaluable to your business and keeping you on the right track and keeping you sane as well. So in terms of a startup business versus a growth business, we said in the introduction that we'd look at kind of some of the differences. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on this, but I would say that the main difference is your intentions from a startup business to a business that's established and growing. Like I said earlier, chances are you had a plan when you started out, but the focus now of your plan will be a bit different now you're established, and the way you approach your plan is slightly different. So in an established business, you're likely to be looking for sustainable growth, or maybe even scaling your business, or both. So your growth intent is slightly different. Generally, the foundations of your business are already in place. So the changes and challenges that you have aren't so rapid as they are in a startup. So you've got the foundations there. You're looking at sustainable growth. You're looking at building on what you've already achieved, on those foundations you've already put in place. That kind of brings on to the fact that your goals and objectives are slightly different. So in a startup, you're looking at finding a market, etc. But in an established business, you're more likely to be looking at building new revenue streams, or growing the ones you're already in, or entering new markets or customer demographics. And you're also probably a lot about managing costs. So there's a lot about efficiency and effectiveness. So that will just kind of slightly change the way the kind of strategies and tactics that you use to deliver your plan. Your business plan audience in startups generally is about raising finance or establishing your new contracts with your customers or getting a bank account. Once you're established, it is, like I've said a few times, it's about your manual or your playbook for your business. It's an internal document that helps you know what you need to do over the next month, quarter, and year. It also about your operations are different in a established business. So in a startup business, it's more about you're creating how you're going to operate your business. In a established business, it's more about the successful execution of your plan. So doing things that you know work to successfully execute your plan, so you get what you need from that plan. And then massive difference, data is different. In an established business, you're in a much better position to plan based on your experience, your data, your historical data that you've got in your business, what you know of your customers, what you know of your team. So that's a massive difference. It's not as assumption based as it is in a startup business. So this is the kind of more the bit where you need to know what you need to do. So there's lots of templates out there. I saw a question pop up earlier, what templates you can use. There are millions out there. If you Google a template, you will find a template for a business plan. I'll talk a little bit in a second about some more of the kind of headings, but I want to talk a little bit now about what you're going to do, because the basics are the same, whatever business stage you're at, whatever industry you're in, really. Basically, your aim is to give a good outline of your company, your business strategy, and the action plan. So it's what your company is, what you plan to do, and how you're going to do it. That's basically what you're trying to do. Before you start writing it, think about who your audience is. If it's an internal audience, like I said, it can be really, really simple bullet points, a couple of tables, and your projections. If it's external, for example, you want a loan because you're pivoting, or you want some extra cash, then you are going to need to put more detail in. And they'll want to see a little bit more of the history of your business, because they don't know you as well as you do. Then think about what your objective is. So like I said, is it simply annual planning, so you know what you need to do for the year? Are you going to scale your business? Do you want to add extra revenue streams? Are you buying another business to help expand yours? Are you raising investment, or are you changing direction? So pivot was a word we've all heard all year, but think about what the objective is for the plan. And then don't forget, I mean, this is really important, to put in those review points to check how you're doing versus your plan, and check the plan continues to meet your business needs. A year is a long time in business, so things can change a lot. So make sure you've got those points in where you're checking. If you're not sure where to start, a SWOT analysis will really help you. Classic textbook business model to use. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm not trying to teach anyone to suck eggs, but this a SWOT analysis is a really, really good place to start. It is so simple, and that's why people have used it for so long. So the strengths will describe what your business excels at, what you're really great at, what your team's really great at, what stands you out from your competitors. Your weaknesses are what's going to stop your business performing at its optimum level. So is it cash? Is it lack of skills in certain areas of the business? Is it just lack of creativity because you haven't spent the time out of the business to really think about where you're going? Opportunities, those are your favourable external factors. They're definitely external, that can improve performance, such as maybe possible new customers. For example, if you're a cafe, there's a new housing estate just being built next to your business. And then the threats refer to those factors that have the potential to harm your business, so or harm your business performance. Anyway, so using that cafe example again, is there a new competitor opened? Is there going to be roadworks outside your business? I remember one of our businesses, we were given notice, very short notice, that we were going to have roadworks outside for nearly 18 months, and we didn't know. So we had to completely rewrite the business plan for that particular store, but also for the whole business overall. So, understanding that what your threats are going to be over the coming year is super important too. By doing that SWOT analysis, you're getting yourself fact-based analysis, that you are basing what you're going to do on facts. You have fresh perspective, so there's things that you might not have thought about that actually come out while you're doing that SWOT analysis. And it also helps you find out the potential opportunities for the business and guide you towards those strategies that are going to be successful for for you, and keep you away from those that haven't worked for you in the past, because sometimes we're prone to doing the things that have always worked for us, but actually having that objective analysis of your business really helps you to move away from doing what we've always done. So just in terms of headings and what to include, and just have a quick drink. So there's a few key headings you always see in a business plan. The executive summary. Now you might think, why do I need to write an executive summary? I don't have an exec board. Do it, because it really helps you in 1 or 2 paragraphs describe what your vision is for your business and what your key objectives are and your targets. Try and say that in a paragraph. It's what, you know, if somebody came up to you in a room tomorrow and said, what are you going to do next year? That's your paragraph. That, you know, what you're going to do to improve or sustain your business over the coming year. Your business description. So that's kind of the next thing. And again, it might feel like, well, I've got all that in my head, but actually writing it down really helps you understand if that is exactly what your business is. So the business description is what you do. So this is where also you'll put in your strengths and weaknesses, the things that you've found from your SWOT analysis. You also describe your products and services here and your operational structure, so how you do it. And then so that's your business model, your pricing structure, your team structure, etc. The next thing is your market strategy. So this is where you can really get under the skin of who your customers are, your sales channels, what your plans are for each of those sales channels, and how you're going to do it from a marketing perspective, from a sales perspective. It all depends on your style of business, but even if you're a cafe, you can still talk here about sales channel. You know, is it sit in or take out? Are you going to start servicing offices when they get back for lunches and things like that? So have a real think about all those different sales channels there, what they are, what they can do for your business, and what you're going to do to market them. Competitor and market analysis. So this is where you can talk about your opportunity and threats. It's worth noting it down, because as you're noting it down, you can identify how you're going to deal with them. Next thing, and this is probably the biggest section, is your development plan. So what are you going to do to change or improve your business, or what you currently do in your business, to meet these new targets that you've created? So are you going to change your product and services, and what you're going to do, how you're going to do it? Are you just going to refine them? Are you going to reduce them? Also, there's lots of things to think about, but really think about, are your products and services going to help you meet the objectives and the targets that you've set out as part of your plan? Your operations and management, do they fit with what you need to make sure your plan's targets are met? Do you need to change the way you do things? Do you need to make your processes more efficient? Do you need to get a new warehouse? All those kind of things. And then people and places. So have you got the right team in place? Have you got the right skill set in place? Do you need to recruit? Do you need to train? If you're looking at from places perspective, if you're a chain, or you've got one store and you want more stores, you know, where are you going to go next? All those kind of things, really kind of pick through all those different those different topics, and understand what you're going to do, and be specific about what you're going to do to meet your targets and objectives. And then the not the main section, but the final section, which often people put off because it's not really their bag, is the financial section. This is where a lot of the number crunching obviously goes in, and the analysis goes in around those numbers, where you create your sales forecast or your cost forecast. You know, what you're going to spend over the next year. Are you going to have any price rises? Are you going to have any costs increase from minimum wage increases, or you know, adding in the extra team members, adding in extra you know, adding another location onto your business. Those are the forecasts. Now you're in a great position that you've got historical data, so you know how it works when you add in different markets or different costs. Your budget. So really be realistic with your budget. I always put contingency in. So I'll always probably about 10-15% contingency in, just in case you get an unexpected cost or issue that creates an unexpected cost, or if you have an unexpected opportunity where you want a bit of spare cash to actually be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And then cash flow. I said this earlier, cash flow is just so important to keep an eye on. I have seen so many businesses really struggle where they have not got a handle on their cash, and then an unexpected issue happens or an unexpected opportunity comes along and they can't act on it. So cash flow, keep on top of it. Make sure you note you put it in your business plan as well. So that is an awful lot of information that I have rattled through there. So we'll have some time to re-clarify anything with some questions. But in conclusion, really what I would say is make sure you do it. Just do it. Do a business plan. It only has to be 2 or 3 pages if that's what you want it to be, if it's an internal document, or it can be a lot longer. Keep it simple and focused. If you have too many priorities, none of them are a priority. You need to focus on the right things and not just something. So keep it simple and focused. And at the end of the day, it's your plan for your business. So it's all the things that are in your head in one place. So make sure you keep it true to your business and relevant. It's your plan. You'll only do yourself a disservice if you don't. If it's going to go out to a bank or some other institution, you can word it slightly differently. But at the end of the day, if it's not true to what's going to happen in your business and what is happening in your business, it will never allow you to meet the objectives and the targets that you want to meet. Because knowing your long-term goals is what is going to deliver this plan in the long term, and having the plan will help you get there in the most efficient and effective way. So hopefully I've given you a quick whistle-stop tour of why it's still important as an established business to have a business plan. Like I said earlier, 30% of businesses that have business plans grow 30% faster than those that don't, so are therefore more successful. So this is your chance to get on with your business plan today and put that time in the diary to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. We've had some questions come through that I know you've answered on the call already. We've had one that's come through saying, I know you discussed the purpose, but does the structure of a business plan change from startup to established business?
I wouldn't say the structure changes. I think the structure is always the same because it's a thought process and it helps you think through all the things you need to think through, and whether you're a startup or established business is a lot of the things you think about are the same. It's how you deal with them is slightly different. So I think it's the content that is slightly different as opposed to the structure. Does that answer the question?
I think so. And we've had another one saying, if you're a founder who isn't great with the numbers, would you advise outsourcing that part to someone else? I'm
always an advocate. If it's not your speciality, it's not the best use of your time to be doing it. And particularly with something with the finances, if you get it wrong, it can be very, very difficult to get it right later on. So yes, I would say if you're not comfortable with it, then outsource it. There are plenty of people out there who can do it, and they can do it at a great value for money price. So yeah, outsource it, because you've got to get it right really at the beginning. You've got to get it right.
Fantastic. Well, that's all the questions we've had through. So Kate, thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you to all the attendees for joining us as well. I have included Kate's LinkedIn profile in the chat function, along with a few links for future sessions and a page for our partnership with Salesforce. You can find out more about the work we're doing with them there. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope you all have a great day.
Thank you. Goodbye.